So let's take to the Constitution. So if a sitting president steps down, then the VP comes up, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Steps down, dies, whatever. If he's declared through the 25th Amendment to be, incapable of fulfilling the duties of the office, which that's complicated because the cabinet and other people within the administration have to acknowledge that. But if he gets 25th Amendmented out, dies, unfit. Whatever is unfit, then yes, Kamala Harris becomes the president.
Right away.
Right away. Yeah.
So he declared he's not running again. So it means that he's going to stay up till January?
So what he has said is, look,
allegedly
I am bowing out of the race as your nominee for president for this next term, but I'm going to fulfill the rest of my duties till the end of the administration. I don't believe that's going to happen. What they needed was time, and here's why I thought, between the medical emergency and then his sudden disappearance and blaming it on COVID, it wasn't COVID. I mean, it was something went wrong, because they can deal with COVID, and COVID's more of a slow decline, but something went wrong quickly.
And he's got 7 shots.
Yeah. So something went bad. They went into a panic. Right. Then behind the scenes, remember, this is Game of Thrones, and people think that somehow, we're more sophisticated than through all of history. We just have a veneer of that. But all of the power players behind the scenes had to then go into crisis mode and started negotiating. So this is the staffers. There's really 3 distinct groups, right, or factions within our government right now. You have the Biden administration, Jill.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Dr. Jill.
Dr. Jill, you're right. Dr. Jill Biden. You have the chief of staff, Ron Klain. You have, all of these people that are pulling the strings, the people that were functionally running everything for Biden, right? Then you have the deep state, permanent Washington, the people that are there, the 3-letter agencies, the people that, assassinate presidents and, things like that. You've got all of them. So the deep state, permanent Washington, then you have, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say 4 really. Then you have like the old Obama folks, right? The holdouts, the people that really are very, very powerful in managing things. Many of them are still in the administration. And then you have Kamala Harris's people. On top of that, you have the globalist power players, the people that are financing these campaigns, the people that are moving us down this path of this one world government type, grouping. You have all of them. So they all behind the scenes have to negotiate, figure this stuff out. So they couldn't just have him die. So if he did die, right, and maybe he still is dead, who knows? It's the end of the week. It's not here yet. They were unprepared for something catastrophic and quick like that, because they don't have all their ducks in a row. They need to consolidate behind someone. It appears within the last 24 hours that it's going to be Kamala Harris. They're going to double down on her. And she's not an dangerous opponent. So she is a dangerous threat. She narrows the race. Her polling is going to be a little bit better right now, at least temporarily, than Joe Biden's because of the cognitive decline thing. That takes that off the table. She's an evil communist, but and she's more left than Joe Biden ever was. So she's a vowed super lefty communist.
I can't hear about her and not to laugh.
Well, she's incredibly unlikable. I mean, Kamala Harris might be the least likable person on the planet, just naturally. She's very off-putting. I said one time it's like, putting your hand in a bag moist and feeling something moist. She's just like, everything about her rubs people a little bit raw. She says, silly things, word salad, like rocks are falling out of her head. She doesn't know what word she's going to use next. She just piles words on top of one another. She she has done a brilliant job failing upward, and she's not a particularly strong candidate, but you can't underestimate the machine. You can't underestimate the Democrats. It really doesn't matter, who they run to a certain extent. They've got this machine. They've got this thing going. They're all bad. They're all evil. Their aims are very specific as to what they'd like to see in this country. Our battle is universal, and our battle is still the same. This is a battle for our sovereignty. Okay, the people who are running the Democrat Party or the globalists or the oligarchs, all of them want to make all of the decisions for themselves. They want to consolidate their power. They want to centralize their power. We are running against people who believe in central authority. And what I believe in, and what I believe is the Christian model, is for us to be sovereign, for us to have sovereign nations, for us to be individuals, for us to have as much power spread out amongst as many peoples as possible. That's what our founding fathers were after. That's what they believed would lead to the most happiness and freedom on the earth, the most liberty, which is a God principle. And that is what the fight is. It doesn't matter who they run.
So remind me of 2020 Democratic primaries. How many votes did she get?
Oh, she didn't even register on the board. I mean, less than 1%. She was, again, she's a very unlikable candidate. She is a DEI hire, which I'm told today is the new N-word. If you call somebody, part of the DEI push,
that's an insult.
That's a racist comment, is what we're being told. Now, forget the fact that we just spent the last 2 weeks calling the director of the Secret Service, Cheadle, a DEI hire, which she was. No, DEI is really an evil promoting of people without it being based on merit. And it's going to be on some immutable characteristic under the guise of, we have to be, kind and give people chances. Well, it has slowly eroded the strength of our country, and they continue to try to double down on it.
So at one time she's Native American, at the other time she's black.
Well, no, she Indian of actual Indian descent. Yeah, so yes. East Indian. So she has, and in 2016 when she ran on the idea that she was Indian. Now all of a sudden she's black. But her I believe it was her father was Jamaican, her mother was Indian. I could have that wrong, but yeah, they now are making it that this is this black woman of color.
So if we take a look into the U.S. Constitution, they have to arrange Democratic primaries right now, right? If Biden steps down, Kamala cannot run because no one voted for her.
Yeah, so number one, they'll break all of their own rules. Okay, so what we're talking about within the there are things that the DNC governs that aren't laws, right? Mm-hmm. Some things have to do with campaign finance laws. Like for instance, there's a $200 million war chest that can only go to, and I'm told that we cannot say Kamala, we have to say Kamala. Like
no
camel,
way.
Kamala. But there's only this PAC money that can go to her. So it gets to be unable to be spent according to campaign finance law if we pick someone else in the primary. She has already secured enough delegates behind the scenes that they've pledged their vote. So the parties, the superdelegates, remember when they ran Bernie Sanders out of town?
Yes.
Bernie Sanders was the apparent presumptive nominee. He had so much energy behind him. This is when the Democrat Party showed its true colors, that they don't really care about democracy. Remember, every day when they say our democracy, that is code for it really being their thing. And it's whatever they decide, the powers that be. It's not a democracy. It's not even our democracy. It is their thing. This thing of ours. It's like the mob. So they decide who they want. And they did that with Hillary, and all of a sudden people were like, wait, what just happened? And they had all these super delegates and all these people within their own rule set could automatically just, oh, forget what you guys want. Here's what we're going to do. And they put Hillary Clinton in. And so they can do, they don't operate on the same paradigm that we do. They do what they want. They will break rules. There are states that it is too late, according to their own laws, for them to have anybody but Joe Biden on. Watch each one of those states write up some emergency legislation or do something to put Kamala on the ballot or whomever else they ultimately decide. But she has enough delegates. She's already gotten commitments. Within the last 24 hours, she raised something like $85 million extra dollars. So they are quickly consolidating behind her. It could go weird. We are in the craziest time of this Game of Thrones that I've ever seen.
Do you think Putin is afraid, is terrorized by her being the president?
Oh, she's so intimidating. Putin must be shaking in his boots. All of the world's enemies are concerned about Kamala Harris. No, yeah, of course not. Nobody considers her a threat because remember, we're talking about a global conspiracy to get who they want in office. The global conspiracy was against Trump. They do not want Trump, and they have made that apparent from all that they did with fourth and fifth generation warfare against Trump. It was on this program, you ran the clip the other day, that I said that they've done that, where they've assassinated his character, gone after him in every conceivable means, right? Then none of it worked. The only thing left that they had was to try to take him out and kill him.
So let me get this straight. So if I run my own party, let's say third party, right? I get my candidate, then I choose a VP. So my candidate is kind of a likable, but the VP is a demon, the devil himself. My candidate gets elected, then he, for instance, says, I'm not capable of running, I step down. So the VP, my VP, the demon, the devil that I chose, is running in office for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And no one voted for that demon and devil.
No, remember, nobody liked this particular demon. Nobody liked Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, she is dangerous because of the Democrat Party behind her and what they can do and the money that they can bring. And, but it doesn't almost matter who they run. They are a dangerous entity in and of themselves.
But of all the Democrats, they have this. This is their best option.
Who?
That's crazy.
Again, we're talking about DEI hires, was expressly picked because of the color of her skin. And Joe Biden came out and said, yeah, I'm gonna pick a woman of color. And, it's going to be Kamala Harris, who called him a racist,
the beef between them in 2020
it was like, the knives were out, they
hated each other.
Oh, and she said such brutal things, which, many of them were exactly true. I mean, he's got a history of racism that's pretty clear. He was a pretty vile guy for many years. And, she was, hey, here's who he is, and he decided that's what I need on my ticket.